Alright, this sniper likes to camp up here. Let's take care of him. Where is he? There we go. Oh, hey, scout. That ain't gonna look too good on me. Hey guys, MrSpirit, and as you may have seen, we have new channel art. There's the new icon and a new banner, and both are thanks to my friend Plague. She did this as a complete surprise. I had no clue she was going to do this, so it was very great. And if you want some YouTube art for yourself, she is open for commissions. There is a link in the description, and there will be an annotation on screen here, probably somewhere big, obvious, and you can go visit her on DeviantArt and get a piece for yourself if you want. So today I want to talk about prioritizing your targets. Now, what do I mean by prioritizing your targets? I mean choosing who you should be firing at what time. Now, this varies on a per class and per situation, so you're going to have to take it with a little bit of grain of salt. And this is more just the basics of how to determine which target you should be firing at versus just firing it at random in general, because usually prioritizing your targets will save your life. So the first step into prioritizing your target is choosing your fight. Now, I've run out, my team is around me, I can see that people are dying, but it's mostly red dying. For me, as a sniper, my targets are going to be enemy snipers right away. If there's no enemy snipers, I want to go for the biggest, meanest classes that there are that other targets shouldn't get near, such as the heavy or an engineer. But that all just varies. If there's no heavies, soldiers. If there's no soldiers, so on and so forth. Pick down my targets. The next thing that you should choose when deciding your target is how close are they. If they are far away and they're not a sniper, odds are they're not much of a threat. If they are very close and they're, say, a pyro, they are top priority. If they're at a medium range, you judge based on who's got the highest damage output. A heavy at medium range, not as deadly as a soldier could be, or a demo man, but a pyro at medium range isn't going to be much of a threat, and a sniper, it'll vary on his weapons. If he's got a rifle and he's good at quickscoping, yeah, he's going to be a threat. If he's got a huntsman, he's more likely a threat, but he could still miss a lot with it. Depends on how well he knows his weapon. And if they're up close, they're probably not as much of a threat. So the distance between you and the enemy, and depending on its classes that are near you, are going to determine who is the biggest threat. Now, if you're still having trouble figuring out who you should target, I suggest looking over the class that you're playing and your loadout. Your loadout can also determine how much of a threat you're going to be to an enemy. If you're a spy with the L'Étranger and you're and a cloak and dagger, you're probably not going to be prioritized as the highest threat, but you will still be considered a big threat due to just being a spy. However, if you're, say, a flog that is critzed up and you're within flame range, you are now the biggest threat. So look at both your opponents and your loadout to determine who's going to be a bigger threat as well. Because your loadout can also determine how much of a threat you can be and how much of a threat they will be. Because a demo man at medium range as a flog pyro is a pretty big threat to the flog. He's not going to be much threat to the demo man. You want to make sure that your threat levels can either be high or low, depending on what you're trying to do. If you're trying to be a spy, the lower the threat level is, the more comfortable people get, and they're not going to be checking as much. The higher the threat level, the more they're going to be checking around. This then changes the threat level on a sniper to very low, and people forget that there may be a sniper in the lane. So then they become a lesser threat, forgotten about, and people walk out and off goes their head. And as soon as people change their priority to the sniper's now the threat, the spy gets the less threatening presence. It's all about creating that loop of who's going to be aggroed and who's going to be the new invisible target. Now, I say invisible with quotation marks because you're not really going to be invisible. Other people will still see you, but you're not going to be as a big of threat that's noticed. So you really want to make sure you're balancing that out with your team. They may not know it, but it's a great way to do it. I've had numerous games where moving stuff as engineer, I'm not looking to be a threat. I want to stay as minimal of a threat level till that last moment when they realize, crap, sentry gun's now in my face. The engineer's a threat. We need to get rid of him. So if I manage to hit a person with a pistol shot here or there, it's not much of a threat. But if they see me moving to level 3, I've become priority target number 1. Same goes with being a medic with an Uber. If people know you have an Uber, you're a number 1 threat. It's just simple as that. You are now the biggest threat on the table. If they can't see it and they can't hear it, you're not going to be that threat. So if you want to make yourself less of a threat, try not be seen as much, but still be there for your team. During a team fight, sure, you may not do the most damage or get the most finishing kills, but you're there contributing to the team fight. Whereas if you wanted to be the biggest threat, be a heavy, be a demo man, be out in the front line and be seen. Create the aggro that your team needs, so that way the rest of your team can get around and do more damage. If you help distract people and have them look to you, congratulations. Your scout and spy may be able to get into the back lines now without being seen. Whereas if you're trying to be that, you're hoping for your team to create that threat. And if they're not, you may have to switch up classes. And like, as you can see in this video, I was a huntsman sniper. Not being much of a threat, but I am getting kills and it's causing people to be concerned. But not that much. As soon as I died, I switched to demo man. I'm now wanting to be the biggest center of attention this team has to deal with. And it works. I start pulling away their heavy and medic just to deal with me. And that's what gives my team the ability to move around and create a forward base, which then puts them at a better position than the other team. So, with these two getting out of position, they've prioritized me too much as a target. It put them way out of position. Now I get to come in, do massive damage, and I've now got them running back. They're now scared. My team can now move forward, and they're making mistakes. And that's what's starting to cost them. You can see their kill feed is lighting up with blue, not red. And that's where prioritizing comes in great work and detail. If I didn't prioritize putting that effort into being a threat, my team probably could have still been held back by the heavy and medic. But now that I've created myself as a threat, I've got medics now understanding, hey, keep this guy up. He's going to be our biggest chance. That's what happens. The engineer, unlucky. Soldier, too distracted. He doesn't know who to prioritize now. There's too many people on the point that they can't prioritize. So I hope you understand and it can help you do better in your games. It's definitely something of a skill to learn, and it's definitely a good skill to practice on. So I hope to see you in the next one, guys.